Hi guys, it's Alex, and it's Tuesday, and the topic was picked by Sarah, and it is whether or not we've ever gotten into an argument regarding sex issues or gender issues, um, and like what was being said, who won, who lost, that type of thing. I don't usually engage in debates regarding issues like that because I know they can be pretty touchy, and I know there's a lot of different views on it. I know that's kind of a politically correct thing to do, but just for being comfortable, I don't like to do it. So, I've had a lot of discussions about it, but that was usually with people who were like-minded. It was in a classroom setting kind of type thing, or just like, groups or whatever. It was never with people who were openly debating. That being said, the person that I debate with the most would probably be my father. And he is Roman Catholic, super conservative, fiscally and socially. And so whenever like topics like that would arise, it would always be him and me just going at it, and my brother and my mom kind of just sitting in the corner and like listening. Um, but the thing with my dad is I've realized I'm never gonna change his mind, and he's never gonna change my mind. He can bring up logic all he wants, but like like, for me, it's just how I see it. And he believes that having sex is for procreation. That is the purpose of having sex, is to have children. To go into it knowing, like, and being open to it. No contraceptives, no condoms, and also, like, gay sex, there's no procreating. So I think he thinks it's just, like, a dirty, dirty thing. And so that's why he was always, like, gay marriage shouldn't be legalized, like, fuck that shit, it's not marriage, like, the whole marriage thing. And I think, like, I know I could never change his mind, and I don't really want to. At this point, I've kind of just given up and past it. But I think I would ask him whether or not he thinks the first man and the first woman, if it was a man and a woman, it could have been a woman and a woman, who knows, the first man and the first woman to have sex had sex knowing that they were going to have kids. Do they know, I mean, like, could you know? Because there was no one around to tell you, and scientifically there wasn't any technology. I feel like 9 months later it happened, and they realized, and they were like, shit, like, there's something growing inside me, this is kind of weird. And then they dealt with it. But I wonder if they just knew, or if they just had sex because, for the reasons people have sex, I don't even need to get into it. So I feel like that would be really interesting to consider, and whether or not that's set a standard, Also, I would ask him who sets the standard for what sex is for, and it's kind of like he expects me to think it's just like this inherent, like, knowledge and understanding, but like most people don't always see it like that way. Like, I could go up to a lot of people and ask them whether or not they think sex is solely for procreating, and there would be a lot of different views on that. So I feel like, even though I can't shake his mind, I think that would be a really interesting thing to consider. I don't really know the answer to it, so I don't think any of us do, but it's interesting to just think about. That being said, the question is, what's the most stressful thing going on in our lives right now? I would have to say, well, my parents got separated while I was, like, up here, it was like a week ago at this point. My dad moved out, and it was kind of ongoing, so it wasn't like a shock or anything, but just having to deal with, like, my mom, and worrying about my brother, my dad, just like the whole, like, dealing with family and stuff is kind of just always stressful. And having to be here while it was going on and not being able to, like, be home and kind of, like, have more control over things, just kind of having, like, it out of hand, was kind of stressful for me. Also, I've been dealing with crazy ex stuff, so that's good. That's always, like, super stressful. I don't like it. So I'm dealing with that. But I mean, for the rest, it's not bad. Classes are a lot of work, but I think the most stressful thing in my life would be crazy ex-girlfriend bullshit, and but like I guess you can deal with that. It's just not pleasant at all. So I'm gonna wish you guys a good week, and I'll see you next Tuesday, unless I don't, which will be like, if I don't see you, it'll be for like a really good reason. I never like don't do it for a good reason. For the last 2 weeks, I have made my videos, discussed the topics, and it was literally just because I couldn't upload the videos on YouTube. I don't know whether it was my computer or my browser, but it wasn't my fault. So I hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you next week.